Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And I owe another shot. I'm sorry. That second one hit me the wrong spot. Ooh, I need a second.
Those are the good shots.
I need a second. I will take that before the end of this pod for sure. I'll do it in the next couple minutes. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. All right, guys, we have a great show for you guys today. We will be talking about all the biggest news that came out of the NFL, and we will also touch on a little bit of college as well as give you our picks for Week 6 of the NFL. And, guys, we have right now a 75% success rate on our locks of the week.
We're killing it.
We are absolutely killing it. Guys, there are sites that brag about 60% success rate. And granted, we're just 5 weeks in, so we'll see how it looks at the end of the year. But, man, we are doing really, really well. Our system has been working great. 12-4, there's been 2 different weeks where we've been undefeated. And I think so, I mean, we're doing great. And we're going to keep it rolling this week with our picks. So please check that out. Win some money with us. We want everybody to be winning some money this week. If you are new to the show and you're wondering about the shots that we just took, we do a shot bet every single week. We don't know what it'll be until we find a disagreement.
Just happens, yeah.
We usually find a disagreement. It's not hard to find.
Yeah.
But let's get to some of the biggest news of the week. And I mean, how do we not start with the Dak Prescott injury? Absolutely horrific. I thought he broke his whole leg. I'm not gonna lie. I thought because I didn't realize it was just the ankle. I think he kind of got lucky. It could have been a fibia tibia kind of terrible thing. Obviously, lucky is not the right word. He's going to have 4 to 6 month recovery. Obviously, out for the season.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak. I feel bad for him. Dak's had a lot going on this offseason, whether it be the contract negotiations, him coming out about mental awareness with his brother and that whole situation, and just to see the way that he broke down on the field, you just kind of saw all of his energy and passion for what he's been doing.
He puts everything into
because whether you agree with it or not, this is a guy who feels like he deserves to be paid and he knows his worth, and he was going out there and he was doing a really good job at it, and just to see it go down like that really sucks. Now,
terrible.
Let's go back though. Injury aside, there was a contract on the table for Dak at the time that was $35 million. Mm-hmm. He was going to be getting a 5-year deal, and they had some discrepancies on that. And that's the thing that really comes back, and it just really sucks because he was going out there and doing a really good job, earning his contract.
Yeah.
And stuff like this gets in the way, man.
The offense was not the problem for the Cowboys.
You shouldn't score 40-something points and lose. You do your job as a quarterback when you do that.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. It is so unfortunate. Now moving forward, obviously we'll circle back to Dak in a second, but we'll talk about the Cowboys real quick because I don't think a whole lot of people were super excited for the Cowboys after the first month of the season. I mean, it just wasn't looking good. That defense did not look like it was even close. And now they have the Red Rifle. They have Andy Dalton, which we said in the offseason was a great hire and a great insurance policy for Dak. And I still believe that. I think
he stepped up and got him the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, going into last week or going into the season, I would have told you that the Cowboys had probably a top 5 backup in the league, right? Like, as far as, you can't get a better backup to have that much game experience and played on some really shit Bengals teams and played a couple good teams as well, early on in his career. But, this is the best offense he's ever played on. So, we're really going to get
Andy Dalton gets a lot of flack where it is not due.
No,
being in Cincinnati, man, he was the last quarterback to lead them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Don't know if he won a game or not, but either way, he was able to get that dumpster fire of a team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now you give him all of this talent around him. It's the same thing that Dak's had to deal with. They're still not winning games. They won this one, unfortunately. But going forward, I don't know what's going to happen, but you could be in a far worse spot.
I absolutely agree. So, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know, man. Do you think the Cowboys have any chance?
Yeah, they have a chance just because of the division and the way that it shapes up. Really offensively, they're still loaded. It's feed Zeke time.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Do you think this helps, in fantasy? Do you think this? How does the rest of the offense affected by this? From a fantasy perspective, obviously, let's take the injury side and just look at it from numbers. How are these players going to be affected?
Yeah, I think Zeke's been struggling this year when it comes to ball security.
Well. Yeah.
He's been fumbling. He's very upfront about it and open, talking about his issues and hoping that he gets better as it goes on.
Yeah.
I think Zeke's going to get some more touches. Pollard's been getting mixed in the game a lot. And now, if I'm a DC going against Andy Dalton, the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to shake that rust off. I'm going to knock his head off, knock the cobwebs off, make him push the ball down the field and beat you, take Zeke out of the game, and, See if Andy Dalton can
it takes away an element because I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to know the difference between Dak and Andy Dalton as a thrower. I would have told you, last year Andy Dalton wasn't a bad thrower of the football. He can make every throw. I think obviously Dak's probably a better pure passer. But the way this helps the defenses that go against this offense is you don't have to worry about the athleticism from the quarterback. You don't have to worry about Dak getting outside of the pocket. Dak can make some plays on the run, and that element of the game goes away. So from a purely football standpoint, that's really what you look at. So with all that being said, let's circle back to the injury. 6 months, let's just say 6 months. He should be ready to go next season. What do you think? What do you think Jerry Jones does?
Man, I mean, Jerry Jones didn't want to pay him when he was healthy, slinging the ball. And, I've come out and I've kind of been a bad guy on Dak's side. Always
you're not a bad guy. You put your opinion out there.
I mean, like, as I said, it was just, Dak had a $35 million offer on the table, and I felt like that's right around what he's worth.
I think it's worth far more. I agree.
And I still stand by that even with this injury. It's unfortunate. And it sucks going forward for Dak because it's like you had to fight tooth and nail for $35 million, healthy, doing a really good job. Now, for example, what if Andy Dalton comes out and this team ends up getting 10 wins, going to the playoffs? That's very likely in this division.
Yeah, I mean, at 10 wins, I wouldn't say it's likely, but in this division, 9-7 is a playoff lock.
Well, and they can go to the playoffs, no problem. So I mean, yes, there is a clear step down from Dak to Andy Dalton.
Yeah, nobody's saying
that. Yeah, we're not arguing that, but you save yourself a price tag of a franchise quarterback that you may not know with the injury and the blah blah blah, all the other stuff that goes around it. I don't know where they're going to go.
Here's another element to this, and I think it's worth noting. Obviously, I'm not saying this will happen, but this is a team that's won their first game in Week 5, right, against the Giants. So they're 1-4. It is not outside the realm of possibility that they end up with a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Cowboys? Oh, they got 2 wins.
They have 2 wins?
Yeah, they got one on their belt already.
Okay, my bad. All right.
No, you're good.
No, you're absolutely right. They forget who they beat, but you're right. They were 1-4 going into that game. But it's not outside the realm of possibility that they're top 10, top 15,
of course.
So in that range for maybe a Trey Lance.
So
or
you're saying the other.
I'm wondering if Jerry Jones looks to this team and says, and granted, I do think they're in a win now situation. I think it probably would behoove them better just to pay the quarterback and move forward with with their team with a veteran that knows what he's doing. But could it behoove the Cowboys to go a different direction and say, hey, we're paying all these other guys. Let's take a cheap quarterback for the next 5 years and see what we can do with him. A guy who has talent. You're telling me not Jalen Hurts, the Ohio State, or help me out.
Trey Lance.
No, not Trey Lance, the Ohio State guy.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. I don't know why I lost his name. You're telling me Justin Fields wouldn't perform very, very well on that team?
I mean, he could light it up, man. I mean, if you're opening up the realm to these quarterback changes, there's a Sam Darnold that could come into play. Man. Sam Darnold's cheap right now.
Super cheap.
And I'll sit here and I'll be the Sam Darnold guy, and I know I will get some hate for it. Sam Darnold makes throws that if Pat Mahomes did that, that's on the ESPN top 10. It's getting replayed 15,000 times.
The run against, granted, it was the Broncos, but I mean, Broncos, it's still an NFL football team. That run against the Broncos, what was like a 45-yard run. If Lamar Jackson did that, it would be, everybody would lose their fucking mind.
He has shown a lot of fight. He has shown a lot of grit. And he has done a lot of good things on a team that really doesn't have a lot of good going for them. And it pains me to see people say Sam Darnold's the problem. Sam Darnold's the issue. Lev Bell's not working well. He's a cancer in the locker room. Blah, blah, blah. It's your damn GM and your coach. You need to get them out of there.
Yeah.
And the GM and the coach, the same person, right? Adam Gase.
No, I think they do have another they have a different GM that they hired afterwards. Yeah, it doesn't matter either way.
Get them out.
I do absolutely agree with that. It's just, I mean, there's so many ways that this could go. And look, we're talking about the downside for Dak. There is another way that this actually works out for Dak in the sense that, look, so he's still getting paid. He got that money no matter what, regardless of injury for this year, right? Now, next year's question, he could get franchise tagged again, $37 million next year for franchise tag. He'll probably take that and he'll probably be fine with that. The Cowboys will probably end up doing that. But everyone is expecting the salary cap to go down in 2021 for the first time in a long time because obviously revenue is a lot lower this year. COVID hit the NFL just like everywhere else. So there is a possibility, and I don't know their numbers, but does it make sense to me that if the salary cap goes down and Dak Prescott would charge a $37 million cap hit to the Cowboys, they might not be able to afford that because of all the other guys they're paying. And the Cowboys might be stuck into a situation where they have to give Dak a longer term deal if they want to go Dak, right?
Just to balance the budget.
Just to balance the budget where they can charge 2022 or 2023 $30-40 million. You know how they always do that kind of thing to fudge the numbers to where they can guarantee Dak $50 million in year 3 of his deal, save themselves money this year, and be perfectly fine. I mean, the Cowboys do that all the time. That makes sense to me if they wanted to go that route, if they wanted to believe that Dak is back from this injury. And I hate to just kind of gloss that over, because I understand, like I understand very, very vividly what it's like to come back from a serious leg and ankle injury like that. And I'm not an athlete, and I know how difficult that was for me. So I can't imagine to have to get to that level, how hard that is. I mean, I just absolutely can't imagine. So we gloss that over because everybody does it, and he'll probably do it too. You can tell him passion he has for the game, and he'll be back. But it's definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah, he'll be back. And listen, all the other stuff, Andy Dalton's success, all the other maybe quarterbacks that we might see here and there. No, I still think it's Dak's team. It is a Dak-led Cowboys offense. Jerry Jones found a diamond in the rough in the 4th round. I don't know what Dak was doing still there, because we saw the moments in college. He plays a lot different than he did versus college to now. But I think he's got it, man. I think it should be Dak's job to come back and Dak's job to get.
No, I absolutely agree with that. Let's go to the Jets, and I hate that we talk about the Jets so much in this pod, but it's so interesting that Adam Gase is now not the first or second coach to get fired. When
I'd have lost that bet. Yeah,
I would have definitely lost that bet. Dan Quinn.
Now all the other names though, I would have had. We knew these guys were coming.
Yeah, I knew Dan Quinn would be done. I mean, look, Billy O. I was on the fence. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I
didn't think they'd have the guts to do it.
Yeah, I didn't either. But I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you can't have that type of a record and do that. But where are you at with Adam Gase and them trying to trade LeVeon Bell now? I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I know you're a big LeVeon Bell guy.
I like Lev a lot, and I just don't know how inept of a coach you have to be, especially to be an offensive guru, as to for some reason you just are attached to Frank Gore at the hip, and you refuse to look at the success that Lev had in Pittsburgh and say, oh, that's on my team right now. And Jamison Crowder's my best wide receiver. Denzel Mims is really banged up.
Yeah,
I really need some help all around. Lev should be out in the slot. Lev should be back in shotgun. He should be all over the place, being utilized the way that he should if you want to perform on the field.
Yeah.
But he's not.
No, he's not. He's absolutely not.
You're paying him that much money. Yes, you already came out and said you'd wish you wouldn't have done that. Okay, instead of sitting there and complaining about that, why don't you utilize the player that you have? For me, I say free my boy Lev. Adam Gase, let him go. I hope he goes somewhere else. He'll be truly appreciated, and he can really help out in the running game. Sadly, there's no team that pops off in my head other than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just because we've seen the way that he was utilized there, and we saw the usage rate, how good he was.
Yeah, and I don't think the Steelers would do that, because I mean they have a litany of young running backs that they have at their disposal. I mean, obviously Connor,
because you got to take on the contract right now.
Yeah, exactly. But you have Connor, you have Benny Snell, who's been up and down this season, and McFarland looked great in week 3 and looked pretty okay this past week as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely agree. I can't imagine a team doing that unless they're trying to make a huge push. Is there any team that we look at as maybe trying to make a push that just lost a running back? I mean,
that's the problem. Is you have to find a push team, because a lot of push teams have their cap already spent.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You have a good roster, you got to pay these guys. I don't know a good team that has the cap that's kind of ready to make this move that might be a running back away.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, you look at maybe the Giants need a running back. Well, no, not really. I mean, they're not going to pay a running back with their record.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at like Dolphins figured it out at running back. Chargers.
I thought Seattle would be a really sexy pick.
Yeah, Chargers have lost 4 in a row, so they know they're not really in the running to make the playoffs. I mean, they're just trying to get there, I would think. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I can't imagine any team taking on this contract right now. I mean, really,
it's just hard to do, because a lot of teams that you would say, oh, he kind of fits there. It's like, well, they got that guy, and then it's like, oh, they ain't got the money.
There's 3 or 4 teams that I could look at that if their starter got hurt, they would probably look to make a deal. Right? Like there's 3 or 4 teams. I'm not even going to name because I don't want to put that out in the world, but I'm sure we can all kind of figure out where I'm going with that.
Workhorse back teams.
Yeah, exactly.
If something happens to those guys and it's their, oh gosh, like Chris Carson goes down for some reason or something, Seattle opens up. You have certain teams where they have a role. You can plug him in. Lev Bell's really talented. I still stand by it.
Of course.
I know there's people against him and not on his side of the fence. I'm here for him. I think this is more of an Adam Gase problem.
Yeah.
And the sooner the Jets cut ties with him, and I think now's the year to do it because you are at a really pivotal point in your franchise.
Yeah,
how about the past?
Yeah,
how about the past? Can we go back and do
for
that?
sure? There's no way.
But they already came out and said they endorsed him for the rest of the season.
And look, honestly, I don't hate that in the sense that like you're not going anywhere. What are you gaining from firing Dan Quinn? What are you gaining from firing Bill O'Brien? Bill O'Brien makes more sense because he was really causing serious issues inside the locker room and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Gase is doing the same thing, but if you don't feel like it's to that level, let him play out the season and then figure it out at the end of the year. You can't really do anything right now anyway. It's not like if you fire your coach, you can get
just
a young up and
stone.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're gonna like save the season or anything like that. So just let it go. Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, fans want to see that. Like Dan Quinn getting fired, I think, which we should celebrate because that was a big one for us, right? I mean, we were. We were really big fans of Dan Quinn. I mean, we said he should have been gone last year. He has this awesome run at the end of the season to save his job. And really, I think, Julio, Matt Ryan, these guys that have been there for a while, they have to regret that, right? Like they could have been 1 year closer to actually getting back on the right foot, and this is just a wasted
so much
year
talent.
for them.
And now the owner Arthur Blank has come out and said that they're going to have to evaluate Matt Ryan at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So they're looking at this possible. Well, I mean, it's one of those things.
Your coach and GM,
yeah. I mean, it's an upheaval process. It's do we want to. Why are we going to have this mediocre team with a good quarterback? Matt Ryan is a good quarterback.
Good quarterback.
Good offense, good weapons, but you're not ready.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Matt Ryan, great quarterback. Yeah, but he's not. First of all, he's not like Tom Brady great as far as like his talent in that regard. And on the other side, he doesn't play to the way the NFL is going, which is having an athletic quarterback that can make plays. Matt Ryan is a great quarterback, but he is one of those guys that is lost in the last generation of quarterbacks, not the new generation of athletic quarterbacks that can make a play. I mean, you look at the NFL right now.
It's Kyler and Deshaun and Lamar time. Yeah,
there's not really a true pocket passer that can't make a play when the play breaks down. That's really being highly valued anymore. And if they are, they're worse for it. I mean, you look at like a Trubisky. That was a bad decision to bet on a Trubisky over a true pocket passing quarterback versus what Lamar or Deshaun was coming out of college. So I don't know. I just think he's in a dangerous spot because he's not Tom Brady. He's one level or two levels down from Tom Brady. So is there room for that?
See if you could ship him out and get what you can, bust up this roster. I don't know because it's.
I could see
they're so talented.
This is what I could see happening. I could see the Colts because the Colts are going to play themselves out of one of the top three quarterbacks this year in this draft, right? Realistically, obviously, it's too early to guess what's going to happen there. But could we see Matt Ryan in a Colts uniform? They already took a chance with Rivers. Rivers obviously. Still having the same issues with interceptions, just threw one of the worst pick six I've ever seen. Like a rookie quarterback, in his first game wouldn't make this mistake, but Phillip Rivers is. So, it wouldn't absolutely shock me if the Colts said, man, we made it to the playoffs, but we lost in the divisional round because Phillip Rivers couldn't make a play. We have this team set up. We're going to draft another wide receiver, and then we're gonna pick up Matt Ryan and have a great offensive line, great running back, better weapons at the wide receiver position, and just go. You know what I mean?
You have a lot of ways.
Crazy?
No, you're not, because it's Matt Ryan and another name that pops up in my head, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
It's a Hall of Fame wide receiver, one of my favorite targets of all time. I mean, big body, physical freak of nature. But if you're the Falcons, he still has value. There is a team that would definitely pay the price to get him.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Russell Gage, who has outperformed anything that he was ever expected to do.
Yeah.
And you have Calvin Ridley, who could easily plug into your number one and you could move forward with your team, no problem. Yeah. And his payday's coming up soon.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? There's so many different ways that you go with this GM, head coach type of fire.
Do they break it apart? Because really what they have is they have a really good quarterback and really good wide receiver weapons, and that's kind of it.
And they have a lot of capital invested in the line.
Yeah, but it's not great. It's not terrible. It's a middle of the way offensive line. But with the amount of money they're spending, this should be a Colts or a Buccaneers or something like that, a really great offensive line, and they're not there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I absolutely agree with you, man.
A lot of questions going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring more questions to the forefront with the Washington Redskins. I hate that next week we're going to talk about all the good teams in the NFL. This week we're talking about some of the worst teams. So that's just kind of where the storylines led us this week. Haskins was benched, and it happened before. Yeah, you think who's going to trade for Dwayne Haskins?
I don't think anyone is, but why would you go from a guy? Listen, I'm not going to sit here and toot his horn and say that he's phenomenal or anything like that, but he has been playing below grade football, starting quarterback football, not enough to warrant him not even taking snaps anymore.
Dwayne Haskins has?
They completely took him off of that. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Dwayne Haskins has been doing good enough to where you don't just obliterate him from the team, do you? Is it that bad?
I mean, it hasn't been good. I think they made they made the decision to go to Kyle Allen.
From QB1 to QB3 in a week.
Well, he wasn't active because he had like an illness down the line, and they just didn't activate him at all.
I get it.
So that's why he wasn't able. That's why he was QB3 technically. I think he is still QB2 on this team. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe they're absolutely burying him. But
I just
if
think
the Washington Redskins are doing that, or excuse me, Washingtons are doing that, no team's gonna. You're not gonna trade for Dwayne Haskins.
No, he doesn't have any value at all. There's guys, I would argue Josh Rosen has more trade value than a Dwayne Haskins just because you still have you have the surprise package of, I don't know what we got versus I know what we've seen, kind of thing. I'm not saying either are pretty.
Yeah, Rosen's on our practice squad right now, so I mean,
I like the role that he's stepping into at Tampa Bay, though. You don't think there's any chance for him?
I mean, he's not practice squad. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm nothing but rooting for this kid. I'm absolutely rooting for this kid, but every single NFL team had a chance to bring him to their 52-man roster, and not one did. And now he's not practice squad. Huh?
Cam Newton had the same thing, and only two teams.
Yeah, but come on, Cam Newton was in a different world. He could have signed on to be a backup in a lot of places if he wanted to.
Okay, yeah, you're right on that one. The whole point being is that we've seen what Dwayne Haskins is. And there is times where you see some promise there. I mean,
look, hey, I actually really do agree with you. I'm kind of questioning it now, but like I made a video in the offseason talking about how he does have some physical ability. He absolutely does. His mechanics and his legs, especially when he's throwing the football, are just off. They're just bad.
I'm a huge Alex Smith fan. Yeah. I love Alex Smith. That was incredible seeing him come back to the field.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen is hot dog water. I have never liked Kyle Allen. I think last year PFF rated him as one of their lowest pure pocket passers. Yeah. He was horrible.
No, he was terrible. Yeah,
that's a huge insult for Dwayne Haskins to get benched for him.
One of the high, but I mean, I think it's one of the situations where he played for Carolina last year. Riverboat Ron was there. Riverboat Ron goes to Washington. Kyle Allen follows, and I think they traded for him. I think it was one of those weird like low level trades, but they traded for him. And Riverboat Ron believes in him. He's had some good coaching as far as like he practices with the Carson Palmer's brother, who gets all of the top quarterback recruits every year to train. So I mean he's been with him for a while. I'm not defending Kyle Allen. I don't want it to come off that way. But I understand where the coach really liked him and the coach thought he needed to change, so they went with the guy that he believed in or he trusted more. Maybe that's the best way to put it. He trusted him more.
Was it time, as Washington, though, as this team, is the quarterback the thing that's losing you games right now?
No.
I think there's a lot of, yes, partly. It is, partly.
Of course, yeah.
There are so many other factors that are going into why this team isn't good right now, though.
Yeah.
And you are a team moving forward, not trying to kind of fuddle up this whole situation at quarterback and not know where you're going. I don't know. It's just
no. I
guess you're done with Haskins.
I think that's kind of the point, though. I think what Riverboat Ron knows, he doesn't take this job unless he knows he has a couple years of security. I'm not saying he has the longest leash in the world. This isn't like a Matt Rule situation where he got 7 years, but he does have a leash. He knew this year wasn't going to be good. He had to know going into this roster. Dan Snyder, whoever's making the decisions up there, knows that this roster is not going to be good enough to compete, right? So you go in and you figure out the pieces you have throughout the season as just a warm-up season, right? Like he's trying. I truly think that's what it is.
So I guess he gave Dwayne Haskins his audition. He said, "Come on back."
All right. I'm not seeing enough to warrant another game. Let's see if I can make it work with Kyle Allen because I really believed I had something last year. And to be fair, his first 3 or 4 games as a backup was good.
I just
as the start. No,
he was. He had a 3-0 record. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure he did. And then it kind of just went downhill.
It was the CMC show.
And I think he got it. It got in his head, and it went very far downhill after that. And they had to start the dude from
Will Greer.
Will Greer. I was gonna say the Florida kid, but he wasn't in Florida. He was at Virginia Tech or whatever it was. It got bad fast. Absolutely. Anyway, I think that's enough for Washington, right?
Well, the biggest thing out of Washington is seeing Alex Smith come back. That's something
that was so cool.
Worthy of all the props.
So cool.
I'm shocked and astonished to see that he would want to come back.
Yeah.
But props to him.
I think he's healthy. I mean, I saw Aaron Donald on his back at one point. So, and actually,
that's another thing. If you're Alex Smith, why come back against the Rams and Aaron Donald? He wants to, and Kyle Allen just got hurt. That's the whole reason that
he
Alex
got knocked
Smith had
out
to
of the
step
game.
in. And Alex Smith is sitting there like, go.
He was in a bad spot. Listen, man, I love Alex Smith. I think everyone loves that story. And people were giving Aaron Donald shit for the tackle because he was kind of on Aaron Donald's back or on Alex Smith's back. Fuck that. Like, if you're
Aaron Donald,
you're playing football, man. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're not sitting here thinking, oh, this guy got hurt 2 years ago. If he's out on the field, you tackle him because that's your job.
If he's cleared, you see him black and white, and you're going to go get it.
I'm sorry. Aaron Donald's going to do his job. You can't get mad at him for that. Obviously, he wasn't trying to hurt the guy. He was just trying to bring him down. I mean, come on. You can't. Playing half-ass NFL football is how you get hurt. I mean, as a defensive player, as anybody, like you're going half speed, you're going to hurt yourself. So I mean, look, I don't know. That's just my personal thing. Fair. I thought that was really stupid. Anywhere else with Washington?
No.
Yeah, I'm good with Washington too. I was like, ugh.
No.
One big shout out, my Miami Dolphins beat the 49ers. That's right. We didn't just beat them. We scored more points than any team in the NFL last week. 47 points against the 49ers. I understand you can't compare that apples to apples. I'm just kind of bragging because this is my team. We beat the 49ers. We crushed them. We kicked their ass. Jimmy Garoppolo still injured. I actually put out a video this morning about Jimmy Garoppolo and just kind of talked about how I compared his a couple of his really bad throws against the Dolphins in the first half to his throws in week one before he got hurt, and you could see like he is still seriously favoring his right.
So that's what you think it is.
100% sure.
I think Jimmy G's garbage.
Oh, you think Jimmy G's garbage?
7 of 17 with 2 interceptions.
I'm 100% sure it was just injury. I'm 100% sure that he will be fine once he gets healthy. His ankle was seriously bothering him more, more than I think he was letting on. There was one play which I showed it on the video where it was pretty much the exact same throw to the same part of the field, and you could see, and I'm not gonna stand up, but you could see his leg literally completely off the ground as he's releasing the football.
So versus, he just doesn't.
Versus like his normal throw. So you could tell
wanting to plant
he wasn't wanting to plant that right foot. He wasn't wanting to put any extra power into that right foot, and you fuck that up, you're gonna fuck up your whole mechanics. And Jimmy Garoppolo, I even said in the video, he is not one of like the top 1 or 5% in the NFL of throwers that can just throw all arm. If this is Patrick Mahomes out there, he can probably throw on one leg and it'll be fine.
Yeah, but I mean that's
a
mechanic-based guy.
Honestly, fucking Josh Allen at this point, I think could probably do it too. As far as arm talent, he just has that kind of. That's not Jimmy Garoppolo. We knew that wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo. He'll be fine. But he's injured. It cost them this game for playing. I think if CJ Beathard's in there, they probably come into the game with a different game plan, and they probably would have at least been more competitive. But my Miami Dolphins got it fucking done. I was hyped.
Yeah, I'll bounce it over. I'll bounce it over to my team and talk about how we almost got it done. And what did you think about the 4th down call? Because that's the big thing that's getting
that's where we have to go, right? I'm glad you brought that up. Look, so I kind of went bold last week and said I thought the Vikings were going to win, and all game I was fucking right,
bro.
Like,
we owned that game.
I was hyping myself up. I was like, fucking called it. Like I was getting in the groove. Sunday night I'm just watching. I'm enjoying it. I was like, fucking go Vikings. And then for a moment the Seahawks kind of get it back, but then the Vikings get it back. They're on 4th and inches. You're 4th and inches, and you are right there. And I get that the numbers say if you get this first down, game's over. And you're absolutely right.
Math says go for it.
Math does say go for it. I don't think the math is accounting for Russell fucking Wilson. There is a 0% chance in my mind that Russell Wilson wasn't going to get down to the end of the field and at least be in position to win the game if you go for it and don't get it, right?
Yeah.
That's my mind. I'm 100% sure that Russell Wilson is going to be able to bring you down to the field. Now, at the red zone, things get tight. You never know what's going to happen. But my money's on Russell Wilson versus the Vikings defense every single time. And you had 2 full minutes. So you're not in any time constraint. 2 full minutes, I believe. Two timeouts. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
right there.
We held them to a 4th and 10, and they got that absolute Hail Mary bomb. Once they got that It was over.
It was over. And look, they got the touchdown on a 4th down. So they converted 2 4th downs good on the Seahawks. I guess the math says that more often than not, you're not going to convert a 4th and 10 and then a 4th and 5 on the goal line.
And you won't.
And I get that, but this is Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
We've seen this offense. You kick the field goal, you guarantee that you're not going to fucking lose. That, in my opinion, you guarantee that you're not going to lose.
You're not going to lose there.
You're not going to. You might lose in overtime, but at least you know what? I'll take a coin flip. I would rather take a 50-50 coin flip that I get the ball and I get the chance to go down the field first against the Seahawks defense that hasn't really been able to stop them when they're in the groove, which they were, versus giving Russell Wilson the ball right there. And granted, I get it. We're not even talking about this if they get the 4th down call.
This is one of those hindsight plays, but
listen, I texted you and I hate being this guy. I hate sitting here and we make an active effort to not bring up these fucking 50-50 calls where you can point to, oh, the coach made the wrong decision because things played out the wrong way for him, because that's so hard to do, right? Like, that's so hard. If you can go back and you don't know what's going to happen, you make your decision and you roll with it. So I get that. I don't want to completely shit on the Vikings. I understand the decision. I think it was the wrong call. In the moment, I was texting you saying, kick the field goal. I thought it was stupid that the announcers were even considering it. You kick the field goal. You kick the field goal against the Russell Wilson Seahawks. I mean, come on. I just think that's very obvious.
I was told,
you're the fan, so I mean,
I'm the fan. I'm the lifelong fan, and I'm the lifelong fan of having the Seattle Seahawks always have our number, man. They beat us, whether it be I'm saying I've had to witness it, which is why I'll stand by my coach.
Yeah.
I will. The night that it happened, I was upset just because of the way that things went down.
Yeah.
Well, just because I knew that as soon as we didn't get it, that's the thing in my head. If I'm Mike Zimmer on the sidelines, I'm not saying, okay, if we don't get it, we can still stop them.
Yeah.
Cut the bullshit. You're giving Russell Wilson the ball. You're giving it against a depleted Vikings team. Yeah. You get this, you win. You don't get this, you lose. That's the way that I really looked at it. And then when it happened, I was like, man, it's one of those hindsight 2020. Yeah, I wish we definitely should have kicked the field goal because you go up by 8. So that takes Russ having to do the same thing which he already did.
That's my biggest thing.
Come down the field then get the 2.
They have to be on the goal line twice. And granted, maybe they weren't going to be on the goal line the first time, but no matter what, they have to go down, get the touchdown in 2 minutes, which, I'm going to give that to them. That's easy for the Seahawks to do. But then you're in a do or die one-play situation, and that might not hit. That is still a 50-50 shot. Russ
led them down the field, and they went for a 2-point after they did it. They didn't get it. Theoretically, kick that field goal because they tried to go up by 3. Remember, we went up by 1.
Yeah.
So they went for the 2. After they already scored.
Didn't get it.
And they didn't get it. So theoretically, kick the field goal, do the same whole thing plays out. They don't get it.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
Obviously, you can bring in the fact that Russell Wilson, obviously if he knows the game's on the line, maybe he plays a little bit different.
Circumstances,
yeah, so
all of it. But
it's not an apples to apples comparison, but it's close. So I
one
get
last
what you're
thing,
saying.
6 seconds left. I know we were losing no matter what. That wasn't a fucking fumble.
That was not a fumble. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
We were losing no matter what, though. So
it wasn't going to change anything. Y'all are not a drop back pass football team.
No.
With the amount you're paying your quarterback is unfortunate. But
right now we are a 1-4 football team.
Yeah, the best fucking 1-4 football team I've ever seen.
I stand by.
They're on it, man. And look, people are going to look at the record and say, man, they sucked, and look at the first 2 games and say they sucked. They played the Titans really hard, a 3-0 team, and they played the Seahawks really hard, a 4-0 team, and probably should have won that game too. So look, the Vikings are still, in my mind, a competitive football team for a wild card spot. In my mind.
No, I really think so. It's going to be near impossible just because of the way the record shifted. I would like to give our defense props for handling and containing Russell Wilson for as long as they did. They did a really damn good job until around the mid-third quarter in keeping Russ contained. I mean, I think he only had, I don't know the stat off the top of my head. He was struggling under 150 yards for a minute there.
The first half, they could get nothing going.
Exactly. I don't know how we were doing it, but one of those things with the depleted secondary, Mike Zimmer's a defensive guy.
It just,
he was able to do it.
Listen, man, like I said, I was so disappointed. I wasn't even disappointed because I'm your friend and I usually root for the Vikings when it doesn't affect me personally. Yeah. But like, I wanted to be right on this so bad because I talked about it on the Hammercast podcast. I talked about it here. Like, I wanted to be right on this one. This was one of my, like, I was kind of going against the grain, and I was so
I wanted it because I'm so high on Seattle.
Yeah.
I think they're the NFC favorites. I think they are firing on all cylinders, and that let me know that we could hold a candle to that at 1-3, 1-4.
Moving forward, we should know the Seahawks have no defensive line, and that is their biggest weakness. Unless they make a trade to really beef up that defensive line, which I actually kind of am expecting. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know who to expect. But one of these teams that have a piece on the defensive line that they're maybe not looking at as a long-term solution, trade him to see the Seahawks, because the Seahawks need it, and they're in position to win now. But right now, you look at teams that can beat the Seahawks. If the Titans and the Seahawks are in the Super Bowl, I think the Titans win it. Like, based on, granted, I'm saying that the Seahawks play because the Seahawks can't stop the run. Seahawks cannot stop the run.
No, they can't. Dalvin was giving him fits the other night until he got hurt.
Madison was giving him fits. I mean, Madison got 100 yards on the ground.
But you still, even with that playing out in the good scenario, you still cannot deny Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf.
I 100% agree. I'm just saying that is the weakness of the Seahawks. Now we know. Moving forward,
yes, they definitely have a weakness they need to get.
There's a couple teams out there that are going to be able to do that, and that's why I thought the Vikings could win, because the Vikings were one of those teams that, if that game plays again, the Vikings are in a good chance to win that. Like, that was a 50-50 football game, Yes. It was a coin flip, so, it is what it is. But, good on the Vikings. The Vikings, let's look at their schedule. What are the Vikings looking at? Can they get to 9 or 10 wins and get to the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't think we can. We go into the Falcons this week. We should be able to take care of them. It's going to be kind of one of those shootout. But our schedule's bleak, man. It is. I won't lie.
All right, so let me look here. Yeah, I lost the Seahawks. So you got the Falcons, Packers, Lions, Bears. Let me go. So I'm going to go win. So now 4-2. Lose to the Packers. 2-4. Excuse me. Lose to the Packers 2-5. Beat the Lions 3-5. Beat the Bears 4-5.
You said beat the Bears though, and they're.
I get it. I'm just going best case scenario to get to the playoffs. So what has to happen. So 3-5. Beat the Cowboys 4-5. Beat the Panthers 5-5. Beat the Jags 6-5. Lose to the Bucks 6-6. Beat the Bears again 7-6. Then you're in a situation where you have to beat the Saints and the Lions down the stretch. Yeah,
and that's giving us 2 toss-up games with the Bears and the Panthers are playing pretty good football too.
Yeah, so you're probably going to be an 8-8 football team at the end of the day, and I don't think that gets it done.
Oh, and I don't want that anyways, just because then that's one of the things that really hurts our draft stock,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
if we're 1-4 right now, that's a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Yeah,
but we're not a top 5 pick football team.
It's just it's tough to look at that now. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Man, all right. Do you have anything else college-wise or anywhere you want to go with that?
Yeah, college-wise, Clemson came out and showed why they're Clemson. I know all the De'Aaron King hype and the Miami, they're back. And
you were on them, man. You were.
I am. I like Miami a lot, and I still think they're a good football team. The problem is Clemson is the football team right now. You are not touching Clemson. Defensively, that's one of the things that we can look at college football right now. Defense is struggling across. If you watch I know everyone watched the NFL. Bama, it's because of this lack of offseason, especially when it comes to college. These kids haven't got to hitting. They haven't gotten that groove. They haven't gotten that knocked off yet. And we saw Ole Miss just hang 40-something points on Alabama. Yeah. That never happens. I mean, Nick Saban was irate that happened.
That defense was the Alabama defense looked like butter in that game. I mean,
Venables over at Clemson has them going though.
Yeah,
you're able to contain De'Aaron King and some of those other weapons that they have going.
Absolutely,
the way that they showed up, they're the guys.
Look, it didn't look close at the end of the game, but I mean, it would have even been less close because the
field goal,
the Falcons, or excuse me, the Clemson Tigers try and go for a 55-yard field goal.
61.
Was it 61 yard field goal?
61 yard.
Okay, I was gonna say I knew it was long. I didn't realize it was that long. 61-yard field goal as time's expired when you're up like 21-3 going into the end of the half, and then it gets blocked and returned for a touchdown, makes it 10-21 to look like a respectable score. Yeah. And after that, I mean, the coach literally comes out and says, "Hey, that was my fault. I shouldn't have called that. That's on me. That's 100% my fault. We'll move on. We'll win." And, obviously it didn't end up mattering, but I respect the coach for saying that, and it's just kind of a nice little nuance point to say, hey, the Miami Hurricanes weren't even close in this game.
Yeah, and that was their test. That's where it happened, because let's give props to Florida State for a second. They gave Notre Dame a little bit of fight.
Yeah, they really did. In the first half, it looked close.
That's the only other game on Clemson's schedule that is worth even sitting up in your chair about.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be
Clemson's
close.
Got it covered.
Notre Dame's
Clemson's
not good. I'm going to sit here and say that. So Notre Dame's schedule or record right now might say they're good. Notre Dame's not good. The Florida State Seminoles are absolute dog shit right now, and they were able to keep up with them for 2.5, 3 quarters. So, I mean, look, it didn't end up looking close at the end.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the game was over in the fourth quarter, and neither team really scored it at all. So it was one of those things where I think Notre Dame is kind of an imposter. You know, when we talk about the Among Us game.
Yeah, if it's Among Us,
an imposter.
Get them out of here.
Absolutely.
Big Ten kicks off in 2 to 3 weeks. It's really good to see them get going back at it.
For that, bro.
Yeah, and then Pac-12 sometime in mid to late November, I think. But looking ahead to college football, we have 2 Goliaths going at it this weekend in Alabama and Georgia.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm here for it no matter what. I think if there's a team that is playing more complete football,
Georgia.
It's Georgia.
Right? Yeah. Georgia,
because of the defensive side of the ball. That's one of the things. I think Alabama's going to win this game just because we haven't seen Georgia really go up against anyone who offensively is elite. And yes, that includes my Auburn Tigers. We're just not there right now.
Man, I wish Najee Harris was in the NFL. Like
he's gonna be a dude.
He's such a fucking man. Jesus
Christ. He's a workhorse back he's gonna find a home.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I absolutely agree with that. That'll be a fun game. It'll be interesting to see. I can't wait for Big Ten football because there's a lot of guys. You know, I'm a draft guy. I always look at it from that stance.
Rondale Moore declared back. Sean Wade,
excited for that.
Justin Fields.
I'm so excited for Justin Fields. All right, so I am in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to start posting draft profiles again and kind of getting back into that. I'm kind of getting an early start because I want to be really prepared for the draft this year. Can you guess the first player I'm gonna talk about?
Oh, I'd bet a shot on it right now. It's Kyle Pitts.
I fucking hate you.
I'd bet a shot on it. It's Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts video
Kyle Pitts is playing out of his mind.
Out of his fucking mind, man. Yeah, Kyle Pitts' video is coming soon. Probably the next couple weeks. I'm gonna probably put out. I'm gonna make a couple videos on my own and then start putting them out.
Top 15 lock.
Yeah.
I know you're not ready because you haven't.
I've seen it. Yeah.
For me, top 15 lock. Baby Gronk out of Penn State, he's going to be a first-round pick as well. But Kyle Pitts is something different.
I was at the gym when I was kind of like run/walking, and I was watching the Florida Texas A&M game where Florida ends up losing, and I just like a couple plays in a row where I was like, who the fuck is that guy? And obviously you told me about Pitts before, and I saw his name, and I was like, that's a fucking tight end. Holy, it just need a couple plays where you can kind of see it, So I'm excited. The second I saw that, I was like, man, I need to get into my draft profile. I want to watch this dude. Like,
the Florida offense as a whole, they got to find them some defense, and they really could be a national powerhouse team.
So am I crazy? The Texas A&M guy, because you follow the names in college more than I do. I follow no college football media, right? So I don't listen to anybody about college football. I watch on Saturdays here and there, but I'm really just a draft guy that watches for them getting into the NFL, and then I watch my team, obviously. So when I ask you about the Texas A&M running back 28, do you know anything about it? Spiller,
yeah.
Is he CJ Spiller's brother, the old Clemson running back?
No, I don't know anything about the ties. Okay. There could be some ties there. I don't know much about him. I do know that this is Kellen Mond's team. This is supposed to be a vertical passing attack team, and that's what they've been trying to do. But hell, man, I'm telling you, something flipped with Texas A&M and Jimbo, and they started running the ball, and I think it played into Florida's lack of defense, of course.
Isaiah
Spiller was able to take care of some business, man, and he's going to be really good.
Lead rusher was Isaiah Spiller, freshman. No relation to Clemson's standout CJ Spiller. Okay, fair enough. I had to look it up. I was just curious.
Isaiah Spiller was a highly touted running back, though, coming in. So, he's a big name guy.
Because I said something on our group chat. I was like, man, this dude looks good. And Colin, our friend who's a big Florida guy, kind of shut me down. He's like, no, it's just Florida's defense.
Well,
and I don't know one or the other. I really don't.
He's right, though.
That's totally
fair.
The
way that Florida's been playing, I mean, they gave up, it's over 500 yards right now.
Yeah.
You cannot get it done by doing that.
Of course.
I'm sorry. If you want to be the team that can really, really win, and that's what their year is with Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts and all these stars, Kadarius Toney on offense.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah. And that's totally fair. Like I said, I'm coming from this. I watched 2 offensive drives from Texas A&M. That's all I saw, and 1 offensive drive from Florida. That's about it. And then I went on to other stuff. So that was the extent of what I saw. But just from those were a couple notes that I wanted to just ask you about. I actually love that segment where I just get to ask you about college football because you know your shit with that. All right, man. You good to go with picks?
Yeah, run it.
All right, guys. Like I said, and I'm going to keep saying this until it stops being true. 75% success rate. We are 12-4 in our locks. When we say bet on this team, this is the lock. fucking bet on it. I mean, make some money with us. Last
75%.
Last week we both made some money, right?
Yes,
we made some good money, and it's gonna keep going. Like I don't think I've ever been to this point in the NFL season where I'm like, man, I'm making good money betting on football, right? Like, like if I had the balls to actually bet real money, I would be
some big bucks.
Yeah, like I'd be making some money, but the second I start doing that, I'll start losing. So I stopped.
That's how it goes.
But all right, let's go. There's no Thursday night game this week. It was supposed to be the Bills and the Chiefs on Thursday night. Bills and Titans play tonight as we're recording it. So just
about to kick off in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we're about to watch that. Oh God, I hope we get done in time to watch that game.
We will.
But so we're not going to talk about the Bills or Titans game too much, or at least we're not going to make our picks. We'll mention it. But no Thursday night game. Sunday, Lions Jaguars is the first team we're going to talk about, and we disagree. Oh shit, you took the Lions here. I'm taking the Jaguars to win this game. The Lions are favored by 3.5 points. It is a 54.5 over under. I'm taking the Jags to win and obviously cover the spread, and then taking the under. Where are you at with this?
We agree on the under. I took the under just because I don't think Jacksonville's going to really have that much going for Detroit right now. Mm-hmm. I think Detroit and Matt Patricia coming off of a bye week, I think this is a really promising team, and Matt Stafford started clicking. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I hope regressed to the mean here is Marvin Jones. He's been struggling out on the field, and I wouldn't say struggling because of it's just the lack of numbers, the lack of red zone targets, the touchdowns. Once again, we haven't really seen Matt Stafford take over and have a Matt Stafford-like game where Galladay gets his 152 touchdowns or Jones has his 112-yard, 8-target game.
Say 152 touchdowns? Oh, 150 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I heard 152 touchdowns.
No,
I was like, that's
Kenny
not
Galladay, they have their weeks where this offense can throw up 40 points, and that's just the way that it rides right now. The defense is playing good football. They shut down a Cardinals offense that a lot of people have a lot of hype behind right now. And I think coming off of a bye week, Jacksonville's not that much of a threat to them.
Man, I totally get that. I look at this Lions team, as a team that's maybe not playing into their strength, in the sense that they could be what the Falcons are with a better defense, right? Like they could be a team that just goes and scores and scores and scores, and then has a defense that can keep teams under 30. And I think they could play that way. They don't. They play a little bit more conservative than that. For that reason, I'm taking the Jaguars to outscore. I actually think this is going to be 30-24, so it's right barely on the under. I'm not confident in that under, but I'm taking the under there just because that's 54 and the line is 54.5. I think the Jaguars are a team that, obviously they haven't won since week 1. I'm not sitting here and saying they're a good team, but I don't think the Lions are that good either. And I think this is a game where the Lions are going to keep the Jaguars close like they do every week. And Gardner Minshew is going to be able to go down and score in the last minute and win this game.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. All right. So we'll
go to the Falcons. And the absence of Dan Quinn taking on the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are a 3.5 point favorite. The line is set at 55 points. And we agree on everything except for the over-under. I have the Vikings winning. The Vikings on the spread at the 3.5 points. And I have the over. I think this is going to be a game where the Falcons are going to be able to toss the ball around, you would think, on our defense just a little bit. But
especially those corners.
As long as we can get our run game going, Dalvin's okay, I hope. We should be. I mean, we've been playing good football.
I don't think Dalvin's playing this week, but Alexander Madison's fine. If you're in fantasy and he's available, go get him. Alexander Madison. Look, I mean, honestly,
really good plug and play.
This is I was kind of thinking this during the game, and we didn't mention this in the other segment. This is why I wasn't worried about the Dalvin Cook contract, which he got paid, and that's great. I'm proud of Dalvin Cook for getting that money. But Alexander Madison's a good running back. This is why you don't pay your running back, because there was not a big drop off. I mean,
they run similar too.
Yeah, they run similar. They look similar, as like just their body type looks very similar. Yeah, there wasn't a huge drop-off between Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. Obviously, I'm not saying Dalvin Cook isn't as good or they're the same level, but production-wise, there wasn't a drop-off. There just wasn't. I mean, look at the numbers. There was not a drop-off. So, that's just something to keep in mind. That's why teams don't want to pay the running back, because shit like that happens all the time. I do absolutely agree with you on everything you just said. I think the Vikings win this game handily. I do think it hits the under, because I thought 55 a point was a lot, and the Falcons have been hitting
coming
the
from
under.
The Falcons, right?
Yeah, it was truly just the Falcons have hit the under the past couple times, and it's like, maybe this does hit the under, so I went under. Well, we don't really pride ourselves on over-unders. We're not that great at that. So
I mean, that's one of those things where it's just you have a game script in your head at how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly.
It can go so many different ways. Exactly. Look at last night's game with the Saints and Chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see the Chargers jumping out to a 20-0 lead like they did,
Yeah.
And then if you're an over-under better in that one, you're immediately going, fuck. Shit. What just happened?
All right.
You want to lock it?
The Vikings to cut. Yeah, man.
It's okay.
I think, I'm pretty confident in that. I just didn't even realize we were going there. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Let's lock that one. I feel really comfortable the Vikings win this game.
There's a lock of the week. There we go.
Lock of the week. All right.
We really desperately need this win. We've been playing some really good football, and if we don't get this one done,
it's over.
Zimmer's got some questions to answer. Yeah,
absolutely agree. All right, we'll move on to Bengals and Colts. The Colts host the Bengals this week. Bengals coming off an absolute brutal loss to the Ravens, which we called. That was our lock of the week for the Bengals to lose by 13. Nailed that one. Thank you very much.
13 points. That's bold to lock it.
Yeah, too. Exactly. Colts. We did not nail. We thought, actually, I think we disagreed on that. I thought the Colts would win that game. You had the Browns. You called that. I lost. But the Colts are favored by 8 points, 46.5 over under. I am taking the Colts to win this, but I do think the Bengals cover the spread of 8 points. I think the Bengals are better than maybe they're getting credit for coming off this Ravens loss. The Ravens are a good football team. They didn't match up very well against the Ravens. The Bengals are going to be able to score against the Colts. Not a lot. I'm not saying they're going to win this game, but they're going to be able to keep it close. I think Joe Burrow, he doesn't want to get blown out very often in many football games and play on the Bengals. It might not work out for him, but this week I do think they keep it within a touchdown. So I will take the Bengals to cover, and I also took the under.
Yeah, I got Colts 28-24 in this game. I have the under, the over. That's just where it checks out whenever I did the score.
Yeah.
Bengals are going to keep it close, though. Joe Burrow has way too much dog in him to roll over and die.
Absolutely.
Can we mention one thing about A.J. Green and some people
got hurt?
Reading some lips on the sideline?
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Trade me. Why don't you just trade me?
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of felt like he's just not invested in the whole rebuild type of thing. He wants to kind of just get out of there.
Yeah. So this is kind of a behind the scenes thing. I was actually making a video for Saturday night for AJ Green, and I just, I was doing the film and I was kind of like putting it together, and I just kind of stopped midway through production, actually while I was editing it, where I was like, man, I don't know how much I believe everything I'm saying. I was like, man, I don't know how good AJ Green is right now, because I was kind of coming from the angle.
Yeah, I was about to say he's heavily targeted, one of the top 10 targeted receivers out there,
exactly.
But fewest catches.
I was coming from the angle that it's going to bounce back and that he's going to be okay, and then I was kind of watching the routes, and I was like, man, I don't love that, and then I was like watching the route combination, I was like, man, I don't love that, and there were just too many things where I was like, man, I don't fucking know, and I just stopped making it. I was like, you know what, I'd rather just not make something that I don't believe in. And then he gets hurt the next week, and obviously this comes out, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't make that video, because I may have ended up looking stupid. So with all that being said, I hope they do trade him. I really do. I'd love to see AJ Green succeed somewhere. I'd love to see a team that maybe is going for a push. 49ers maybe could trade for an AJ Green on the outside.
It's Philadelphia, man.
That
makes perfect sense.
Philadelphia makes a lot of sense. You're absolutely right. That makes a whole lot of sense. Thing is, Philadelphia, I mean, well, yeah, they're in contention for a wild card spot. You never know, or for a division spot. So you're absolutely right. That makes a whole lot of sense. Anywhere else you want to go with that?
No, I still like AJ Green a lot. Like I said, I just think it really hadn't gone his way. But
he needs, look, he doesn't have the speed anymore. He was a 4.5 guy coming out of college.
I mean, I don't think he's regressed.
I was gonna say, that's what I'm saying. He was a 4.5 guy coming out of college. He's probably like a 4.6 guy now. Like that, and that's not an insult. He is still a go up and get it type of guy, but he's in an offense where he's trying to play like a bunch of slants and a bunch of and he's not getting separation that way. I mean, he needs to be. I don't know. I think he needs something else. I would love to see what the Eagles could do with him. I think they could use him in a better way.
Anyone else, go get him. If you're the Bengals, T. Higgins has really lived up to what you would hope in the same AJ Green type role.
And T. Higgins and AJ Green play the same fucking position.
So
they play the exact same position.
Get you some capital. You're a young team. It makes perfect sense on both parties to be able to trade.
I absolutely agree, and it doesn't have to be a lot. 4th round pick or something, because there's some cap that goes into the AJ Green put trade. So yeah, I would love to see that. All right, we'll move on. Bears Panthers. This is a game I'm really excited for. We agree on it.
This is the imposter team. We get to see which one's
the Bears are the fucking imposters, man. We've said it so many times, and now I'm confused because they won and they beat the Bucks on Thursday night.
Are they?
And I mean, we didn't. I don't think anybody saw that coming, and especially not me.
Not knowing what down it is to call.
Yeah, that was weird. I remember because I didn't even realize that happened until I saw it on social media later. Because I watched the game and actually turned it off the second he threw that interception or threw that incomplete pass on 4th down, and I was like, that was kind of a weird throw to do on 4th down. Why wouldn't he have done a higher percentage throw? And then afterwards, I realized, social media told us he thought it was 4th down because I didn't even watch that whole interaction. But yeah, that was crazy. Man, maybe I don't know. I look at this game and I say the Panthers are going to be able to outscore the Bears, but we'll see if the Bears defense is up to the task to take on the Panthers. We'll see. I do think the Panthers win this game. The Panthers are favored by 3 points, 44.5 over under. I think the Panthers win this. I do think it's the over, and I think the Panthers win by a touchdown.
Man, we agree. We agree unanimously. Panthers win, Panthers cover, and I have the over as well. Just because I think the Panthers have been playing some really good football. Robbie Anderson has emerged as a true target for Teddy Bridgewater. He's kind of becoming a security blanket.
Yeah.
A lot of fantasy owners wish it would be DJ Moore. He had a good week last week, but both of them together doing a really good job. Mike Davis is stepping up and performing the CMC role as good as he can for his physical ability.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Bears defense can bring to the table. I know what the Bears offense can bring, and it's inconsistency.
Yeah.
So
incredible inconsistency.
We're going to see where it goes. The Bears are going to get them to around 20 to 27-ish points. I am pretty confident the Panthers can outscore that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Are you? I'm on the fence.
I can't lock it.
I was gonna say I'm glad you said that, because if you would have pushed me, I probably would have agreed. But I'm on the fence on this. I'm not sure. I'm kind of going down the list and like, man, I don't know how many locks we're gonna have this week. Which is okay. Hey, we don't put a number on how many locks we can have. We want to be right. We want 100% success rate every week. So if we have one lock, we have one lock. That is what it is. I mean, it's football. It's tough to grade every single week. All right, we'll move on. Washington and the Giants. The Giants are favored by 3 points in this game. 43-point over under. Very, very low over under. I do think the Giants win this. I think the Giants cover. I'm taking the over. I'm actually surprised to see we disagree on this game.
I'm actually going to reverse course right now.
Oh, really?
Because I don't know what I was thinking whenever I was doing that. I think I was just distracted and stuff. Giants played some really good football against the Cowboys. It was a Cowboys depleted defense. The Washington defensive line is going to wreck the Giants and Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
Darius Slayton played some good ball. They found ways to get Evan Ingram involved. I don't know. I'll change the Giants totally.
All right, so you're taking. Do you want the spread as well?
3
Giants
points.
take over 3 points.
Yeah,
Okay,
3
cool.
Give me that.
I agree with you. Everything you said, I 100% agree. I don't know what Washington's going to be.
The reason I picked Washington was because of the defense. I thought that they were going to be able to do enough stuff to just keep it. But Kyle Allen, Alex Smith, I just can't.
Yeah, I'm out on Washington right now. I'll take the Giants. You're not going to lock it.
No.
You're just now flipping, so I can't imagine.
Yeah, I'm not a lock.
All right, so we'll move on. This is a game I wanted to lock. We disagreed with me, and I'm so upset. All right, Steelers host the Browns this week. The line is 3.5 points. 51-point over under. I'm taking the Steelers to win this game. I'm taking the Steelers to crush the Browns. I feel very strongly about this. I think
the Browns are an imposter.
I do think the Browns are a little bit of an imposter. But really, this is more of a compliment to the Steelers. I think the Steelers are a really good football team. I think they're going to crush the Browns. I think they match up really well. Their defensive line is legit. They are going to be giving Baker Mayfield so many fits. Look, the Steelers corners aren't amazing. OBJ and Jarvis will get open here and there, so points will be scored for the Browns, but I think in crunch time, that defensive line is going to make life hell for the Browns, and then also they will be able to contain a Kareem Hunt and a Johnson enough to win this game. And obviously, we saw what the Steelers can do offensively. I think they'll be able to keep that going as well. I think the Steelers crush them. I think this hits the over because the Steelers are going to put up like 33 points. Browns probably get like 17. Hits the over.
Man, I have more for the Browns on that. I have the Steelers winning. I do have the Browns covering, and that's a slim margin at 3.5 points. That's how close I think this game is.
Wow, you think this is a coin flip?
I think this is a coin flip kind of game, and the reason I chose the Browns to have the spread right here, yes, this is one of those where I get a lot of these wrong just because I pick close spreads, but that's because I want people to know how close I think this game's going to be. Mm-hmm. The Browns are a really good football team. Their defense is something to be, they're a force to reckon with. Mm-hmm. Yes, Chase Claypool is emerging now as the Steelers, and it's like, that is the last thing, if you're not a Steelers fan, that you want is another wide receiver weapon to step up on that team. They're loaded all around. Their defense is playing really good football. I do think the Browns, though, are a playoff team this year. I think they're a playoff caliber team, and I think we're going to see probably one of the better games of the week here.
Absolutely agree. All right, and this is the point of the show where I admit that I was dead fucking wrong. I'm gonna. Let me do that one more time.
It's Chase Claypool time.
Yeah, Chase Claypool is the fucking man. I called him out as being a guy who was just going to be way overdrafted because of his combine. I did not see it from a film standpoint. And I was dead wrong. I had him as one of my lowest wide receivers. I didn't see it in any way. And I was so confident that I didn't even go back and rewatch, which I regret now, obviously, because it's looking like I was dead wrong. The second he went to the Steelers, I felt very nervous about it. And now
I do remember you saying that. You said that if there is a team that can bring that out of him,
man, it was the Steelers. And look, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I was right because I kind of went back on it the second he went to the Steelers because the Steelers are so lucky with not lucky. They're so good at drafting wide receivers. But man, I was dead wrong. I want to own that. I think that's something when we started the show
you were
that
very harsh against Chase Claypool.
Yeah, and when we started the show, we wanted to be honest with our opinions. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. But if we're right, we're right. I will take the victory lap when I hit it. This one, I'll take the L here.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like to say that I safely straddled the fence on Chase Claypool. I acknowledge that he has insane physical ability, but I did say it's going to take a really good team and a really good coach to come in and refine that and kind of mold him into what he is.
Guess what he got?
Boom. Your boy hits by straddling the fence.
All right, here we go. Ravens, Eagles. Eagles are an 8-point underdog in this game. 47.5 point over under, which I think is low for some reason. Well, I don't know why that would be there. Anyway, I'm taking the Ravens to win this game, to cover 8 points, which is a lot. I'm not like super confident in that, but I do think the Ravens are a better football team. I think they can crush the Eagles. I think they make this like an 11-point game. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Where maybe late in the fourth quarter they get another touchdown, put it away, and that defense is good enough where they don't even let the Eagles ever get back into it. I'm taking the over. I do think this is like, I don't know, a 33-23 type of game, or 34-23, something like that.
I was wondering where you had the over coming into this, just because I have the under, and it's the Ravens absolutely dominating. Eagles aren't getting more than 14 points.
Really? Okay, so you see a different kind of game script, the same
I get
result.
We have the same result. Ravens are covering. 8 points is stout. The Ravens have been up against that spread a lot this year, though, and they've covered time and time again.
Yeah, they've covered multiple times, and granted, they've had a good run of bad teams, and this could be one of those like slip-up games for the Ravens. But I mean, really, they have been firing on all cylinders ever since the loss to the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. Do you want to maybe lock this?
8 points is hard.
8 points is hard.
Lock it.
Fuck it. Yeah, we're gonna lock it.
Hey, make sure if you have.
Can we circle back? Because I want to lock this, but if I want to have two, I really do. And I do believe this.
Leave it highlighted if we can't find another one along the way, because I don't think we are.
I don't think we are either. Just looking at our picks now that they're up, but we'll see. Maybe we agree down the line.
One
we'll
game.
see.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's see how that goes. We're probably only going to have 2 locks this week, just based on how this conversation went. I'm fine with locking it, but we'll see how that goes. All right, moving on. Very quickly, we already kind of talked about this game last week. It got postponed to this week. Broncos, Patriots. Patriots host the Broncos. I feel so bad for both these teams.
Give me Cam and I'll lock it. I don't care what the numbers are.
Really? Okay, I'm not going to do that.
And I'll lock it.
I'm not going to do that. I do think the Pats win. We can't lock it because we don't know what the line is.
Give me Cam and I'll lock it.
All right, I do agree. The Pats are going to win this game regardless of what the line is. I'm going to feel pretty good about it. But as of recording this, we don't know what the line is. We are
Patriots are winning this game. They're the better football team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so unfortunate for both teams, though. They lost their bye.
Yes, and that's one of those things that goes back to, I've said it time and time again, we are going to have a modified schedule. We are going to have modified things that we're all going to have to get over and just cope with.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree, but I mean, that just is what it is. So we'll move on. Jets, Dolphins. My Miami Dolphins fucking beat the 49ers, and now we get to go play the fucking Jets.
What's your record right now?
We're 2-3 right now. We're going to be fucking 500 if we beat the Jets, and we're going to beat the goddamn Jets. Let's go! Woo! Oh, I'm so excited. Sorry, guys. I know that just blew out your eardrums.
I can't wait for this to be clipped. I can't wait for it to be clipped when somehow the Jets have that game.
I will do that. If the Jets win this, I will clip it and play it at the beginning of the podcast tomorrow, all right? Hold me to that, all right?
Yeah.
I think the Jets win this game. Or I think the Dolphins win this game. I took the Jets to cover an 8.5 point spread.
You took them to cover?
I did.
You go all hooping and hollering and you expect it to be a close game.
I am scared. I'm a Dolphins fan. I never touch my team when it comes to betting. I just don't know. I feel like this is one of those Adam Gase things where he's going to be like, fuck this. We're going to fucking.
Yeah, old team. We're going to find a way.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't truly believe it, but I'm just hedging my bets a little bit because the Dolphins have this innate ability to let me down. And this is the most hope I've had for my team in 3 years. You guys have to understand that, right? Like truly the most hope I've had for my team.
Can be 500.
In almost 3 years. And probably the first time we're going to be 500 in 3 years. So let me have this. Let me just have this fear of thinking the Jets are probably going to fucking win this game anyway. We'll see. I don't want you to talk.
I have the Dolphins winning, Dolphins covering. I think this is a game that y'all have been coming out and playing really above what you're capable of. And it's been... You like how I give compliment stabs?
That was nice.
That's what you do to me. Yeah. It's like, you're really good sometimes. Jab. Dolphins can do it, though. They should be able to. Fitzmagic's been balling. All
right, let's move on. Who we got next?
We have the Packers and Bucks, and this is a really good game.
We disagree on this.
We disagree on it. It's going to be one that we have to stay highlighted on. Bucks 2.5-point underdog here, 54-point spread. I have the Packers. I have the Packers covering because I have them winning, and I have the over on the points at 54.
Yeah,
Packers, man, I don't know. After the Bucks, the way that they played against the Bears just wasn't enough for me. They still have a lot of problems where some weeks they click, some weeks they don't. Their wide receivers are really banged up. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see, man, and I totally get that. I am taking the Bucks to win this. I think this is a coin flip game where you give Tom Brady and the Bucks an extra 3 days to practice because they're coming off a Thursday night game, so they got 10 days versus 7 days for the Packers. I do think the Bucks win this game in a close one. I took the over 54, obviously, because the Packers are favored in this game, so I'm taking the Bucks to cover the spread as well. I feel pretty not great about that. I'm kind of a coin flip. I could have gone Packers too.
Another possible game of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll move on. Rams 49ers. So excited for this. We agree across the board here. So the Rams are favored by 3.5 points. Obviously, 49ers have their quarterback issue. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo will be starting this week. I think he's going to go back to that injury designation with that high ankle sprain. Like I said during the pod, and you can check out my video on it, or I went in kind of detail on why I think he is just still hurt. But regardless, I think the Rams win this game. The Rams have been firing on all cylinders. They have a better football team. They're going to be able to match up against them pretty well defensively as well. And the 49ers, they're really beat up.
This is the game that I said that we would lock. This was the only
Really?
other one. Fine if you don't want to. For me, it's one of those things when I look at the Rams offense, the way that they've been utilizing Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and all these guys, they're really clicking. They're using the running backs to perfection. And then you go look at the defensive side and the type of problems that Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald are going to be able to cause a good 49ers O-line, but an inexperienced quarterback in C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, whoever takes the snaps right there.
Yeah, man. I look, and I do agree with you. I am really, really nervous to lock that. Just because the Rams have played good teams close, right? They lost to the Bills by 3 points.
We don't really know what they are.
Beat the Cowboys by 3 points, or Cowboys really aren't that good. But I mean, they've really they've beaten the Giants, the Washingtons, and the Eagles, and the Cowboys. So they
pretty much took care of the worst division in football.
Yeah. So I mean, that's about all they've done. So I'm not going to lock this. I actually was thinking the other game was the game we were going to consider locking. But look, so this is why I am not going to bet against Kyle Shanahan for 4 points. I think this is a coin flip game to me. I actually think the Rams should win this game. And if this wasn't a coach that I just believe in more than anything else, I would tell you, yeah, the Rams are going to win this. But the Rams are going to crush them. But man, this is the 49ers. I think this line is as close as it is because of that. They're giving a little bit of respect to the coaching staff and the history. Yeah. The past year and a half of being really good, regardless of the talent on the field or who's playing or who's hurt. So I'm not going to lock this. I don't want to lock this. I'm not comfortable about it. I'm just not. But I do agree with everything you said. I don't have anything else to add on to that. I think the Rams win this game.
We'll kick it to Monday Night Football, and we have the Arizona Cardinals going to the Dallas Cowboys. Cardinals are a 3-point favorite now. That line has shifted since the Dak Prescott injury. We knew that would happen. Over-under is set at 54.5. I have the Cardinals winning. I have the Cardinals on the spread, and I have the over. I do think the Cowboys are still going to be able to give them fits, and I feel like this is something that you want to lock, and I can't.
I understand that. I do.
Can't. There's too many ways that this can play out. Seeing the Cardinals come out at times and do what they should, but then they go lay an egg against the Lions, and offensively they just had some struggles. I know that defensively the Cowboys are nowhere near, Look, the Cardinals should take care of this.
You are absolutely right, because even as you talked about that, I wanted to bring up the point that the Cardinals have not looked good the past 3 weeks. They really haven't. They beat the Jets, obviously, and they crushed them, but they didn't really look good doing it. And Kyler Murray, regardless of the numbers, did not look good his week 3 or week 4 game. Obviously came out hot and played very well in the first couple games of the year. I agree with you, man, because this Cowboys team, they can score at any time. I'm not sure what to think about this card. You're right. As we were gearing up to talk about this game.
It would not surprise me if Andy Dalton comes out here and is able to get this team to a victory.
And at the end of the day, I do think the Cards win. I do think the Cards cover, but it is very difficult to bet on the Cards to win this game and cover this game on a Monday night when the Cowboys are made for Monday night and the Cards are just, we don't know what Kyler Murray is going to be. Are we going to see good Kyler Murray where he runs for 50 yards? And
good Kyler Murray should kill this defense.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But a bad Kyler Murray throws 3 interceptions. So I don't know what we're going to see.
And another thing is this is not a good Cardinals defense.
It's not.
Cowboys
Buda
have
Baker's
weapons.
hurt. You're absolutely right. I think Chris Jones is banging it up. I don't know.
Amari
if he'll be
Cooper,
missed or
Gallup,
not,
and
but-
CeeDee should eat. Andy Dalton is very capable of getting his playmakers the ball.
Yeah.
And the good part about getting your playmakers the ball, sometimes it's hard when you have one or two.
Yeah.
They got like 4.
They do. They really
They're
do.
good.
All right. I'm going to circle back. As we were talking about it, the more I thought about it, I do agree with you. Ravens, Eagles, we're going to lock that. So our 2 locks of the week are the Ravens to cover 8 points versus the Eagles and the Vikings to beat the Falcons by 4 or more points. Those are our locks. Bet on them. We are 75% success rate. We have not lost once this year when we have just 2 locks. All right. So that is pretty much locked and loaded guarantee. Take those bets. I shouldn't promote gambling. Do it if you have the money. If you have extra spare money to bet, don't bet if you don't.
Run.
But last 2 games we're just going to mention very quickly. Texans play the Titans this week. I do think the Titans will take care of the Texans. Titans play at home.
Take care of the Texans.
Take care of the Texans.
Awesome.
That's exactly right. Take care of the Texans.
I like that shit. Titans are winning that game.
Yeah, Titans are winning. And then a Monday night game got moved from Thursday to Monday. Chiefs Bills. So excited for that. That'll be the best game of the week, man. That'll be the best game of the week. I don't know who's going to win.
I expect them to line up before the game, and if I don't see a Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen throw off, I'm pissed.
I'm swear.
They've been talking about it for years. So much heat about it.
Yes.
All you got to do is come out 10 minutes early. COVID, you can stay on other sides of the field.
Sit on the stand 6 feet apart.
Goal line to goal line.
On the goal line. See how far you get it.
Chuck it.
I would
money.
love to see that.
Josh Allen.
My money. Patrick Mahomes. Shot bet on it if it happens.
Yeah, I'll do a shot bet on that if it happens. But you also need to kind of loop back real quick in your head and find some 3-shot bet that you gotta play somewhere along the way.
I gotta give you something good because I've still been beating you.
I won this week.
You won this week, but I beat you more than you beat me.
We're 2-2.
We're 2-2. Oh yeah. Fuck you. I don't have to give you.
Fuck you.
I don't have to give you anything easy. Shit.
Saying booty.
You want to do one tonight? Titans Bills.
What do you got?
Ryan Tannehill has more fantasy points than Josh Allen.
Bro, now you're giving yourself shots. You don't believe that.
I don't.
Yeah, don't do something.
Give me a handicap. Give me a handicap on true fantasy points PPR. Give me a handicap.
I'll give you 8 points.
You give me 8 points. I'll take that for sure.
Okay.
8 points.
8 points. Josh Allen. Yeah.
And if it's dead ass even at 8 points, we both take 2.
You know what'll suck is whenever this could be some ugly just grind out 17-13 game, and then you're going to get it. Well, I mean, Josh Allen could have 26 and Tannehill gets 17, and you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it goes. Oh, well.
All right, we'll see how that goes. You gave me 8. Give me 7. I feel like 8's too much.
7.5.
All right, 7.5, and it hits 7.5. We're good. We'll shake on it again.
Hang on. Take the 6.5 deal. 6.5.
Wait, no, 7.
6.5. 6.5.
All right, 6.5. That's fine. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel Between the Pylons. We have some great stuff coming out every single week, as well as the best part, this podcast where we just talk football. Can't have more fun than that. And then listen to us on podcasts, all that good stuff. Thank you to Underdog Podcast for keeping for dealing with us. We really appreciate y'all. Peace out.
Yes, 7.